There are many in the liberal blogosphere who think that John McCain has been getting little scrutiny in comparison to the Democrats when he makes a blunder. For instance, in John McCain's recent economic speech, he called on outside groups to come up with a plan to fix the U.S. economy. And there's been little coverage of the endorsement he sought from Pastor John Hagee, who's referred to the Catholic Church as the Great Whore and the Antichrist. And then there was this gaffe in Amman, Jordan.
It's common knowledge and has been reported in the media that that Al-Qaeda is going back into Iran and receiving training and are coming back into Iraq from Iran. I'm sorry, the Iranians are training extremists, not Al-Qaeda.
Michael, a spokesman later said that Iran was in fact aiding Al-Qaeda. So I guess there really was no mistake, huh?
No, I think McCain sort of walked a fine line here, but the McCain people and conservatives in general, this is not a risky proposition for him to go out and say that Iran is collaborating with Al-Qaeda. The extent is an open question, but I think even within the intelligence community there's a debate about this, and McCain's erring on the side of caution in that debate and assuming that Iran and Al-Qaeda are collaborating to some extent.
But John McCain, I'm sorry, Michael, but John McCain hasn't provided any additional evidence to support that.
Well, I mean, there is evidence out there. You know, John McCain's not going to go and give an intelligence briefing, but you know, for example, at our blog, we have put a lot of information up on this. You know, it's a gray area. There is not a lot of information out there, and of course, the absence of evidence does not mean evidence of absence in this case. It's a murky area.
Well, Jane, what do you think? If a Democrat had made these same comments, would they be getting the same treatment as McCain?
Well, I don't think so. I think that, you know, the press has been all over both Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, and they're not calling John McCain on his changing positions. For instance, he opted into the public financing system, and now that he's the presumptive nominee, he's opted out. But the chairman of the FEC, David Mason, says that McCain can't opt out of the public financing system, and the press isn't calling him on it. You know, and that's his signature issue. It goes down to character. Do we really want another president who's going to be, you know, saying one thing, you know, saying that people need to follow one law and then following another himself?
Well, Jane, full disclosure, I believe on that score, on the campaign finance reform, haven't you filed some litigation against the McCain campaign?
We filed a complaint with the FEC, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but didn't Barack Obama also pledge to use public financing?
No, as a matter of fact, he didn't. He never applied for public financing, nor was he accepted by the public financing system. John McCain was.
He did make a statement.
He would agree to do so.
What he said in a speech was that he would enter into a discussion with the Republican nominee about agreeing to public financing. But since John McCain has opted out of it, that discussion is moot.
My understanding,
well, no, Michael, go ahead.
My understanding was that McCain was willing to have that discussion with Barack Obama, but apparently Barack Obama agreed to have a discussion about a discussion.
First of all, the Democrats don't yet have a nominee.
John McCain entered into a binding agreement with the FEC to abide by public financing laws. He also secured a loan based on that agreement, which means that he can't get out of public financing. And the chairman of the FEC, David Mason, has said he can't get out of public financing unless he gets a decision by the FEC. So that's very different from something Barack Obama said in a speech.
But I'm not sure with the lack of FEC commissioners, I guess we could actually make a decision just where this is going to go. That's kind of where we're at right now.
The Bush administration has kept many oversight boards from having a quorum, and so John McCain, you know, ignoring the law because there's nobody there to enforce it, really doesn't go to his character.
All right. Well, Michael, real quick. I mean, just with the straight talk, John McCain, does this hurt him a little bit in this discussion?
I think the Democrats are facing a real uphill battle if they're going to look. They want to go after McCain on his character. That's where he's strongest. You know, in light of the Reverend Wright scandal the last few weeks, which isn't going to go away anytime soon. You know, Hillary Clinton's got Tuzla. I think character is going to be a very tough terrain for them to fight this election on.
I mean, but there are other issues for John McCain, which we spoke of briefly. You've got the John Hagee issue, which honestly no one in the media has really called John McCain on that.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, the problem with John Hagee is that he endorsed John McCain, but they really have no relationship, and it's going to be very tough. Anytime you shine the spotlight on Hagee, you have to talk about Rev Wright, who Obama's had a 20-year history with and is still an unapologetic anti-Semite and a bigot, and frankly, there's no way that the Obama people are going to push that in the general election. There's no comparison between a guy who endorses you and a guy you have a 20-year relationship with and marries you and baptizes your kids.
Jane, we got 15 seconds left. You want to just weigh in here on the Reverend Hagee?
John McCain said he was proud to have Reverend Hagee's endorsement, so I don't think he's gotten rid of that.